Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Ted here with Bodies and Wicks. I do apologize about that with the live stream. I was doing live streams for like 3, 4 weeks in a row, and I was having no issues. And now this week, I've had issues every single day, and I cannot stop having them. I don't know anything what I had done different. I really don't. I did something different today to where I tried to up the kilobytes per second because I thought maybe having low kilobytes per second was slowing it down, so I upped it a little bit and still didn't help. So I'm not for sure what was going on. Anyways, Bodies and Wicks here. So what I do is my introduction. I try to get you away from retail theory. What retail theory is what you're probably doing every day and losing money from, and that is buying at the wrong spots and selling at the wrong spots. Um, you know, finding a double top, and then once it tries to make a triple top, you're selling, and then as soon as you sell, it goes straight up and it goes right through it. Or whenever I'll go right back to the issue issue I was talking about just before I had to come offline because of all of this ridiculous stuff. Was here. We'll just go ahead and flip on over to the browser section. So this is Bitcoin. Apologies for all the notes on there. If you just flick that off, you can take off all of my notes, and I probably should just start from the very beginning. But what I was saying is that, look, there's a trend line going from here to here. So if I was to, and it's all my stuff's gonna come back. So sorry, guys. If I click this and I say to click on this, yes, I know it's on magnetic mode. Click on this, everything's gonna come back. Click off magnetic mode. You go all the way through here. Here's the bottom of a candle. Here's bottom of a candle. There's a bottom of a candle there. So you're kind of getting close to like pretty much, or actually, if you would prefer, maybe even go this way. That may even look a little even better. I don't know. As a trend line, I think that does, because then you have 0.1, 0.2 as the bottom here, 0.3, and then once you get to 0.4, look what happened. Boom. So then that was after it made its final high. It probably came down. People were seeing some kind of trend line, probably trying to buy it, thinking it's going to bounce off of it and go higher. And of course, the smart money in the room knows that there is liquidity sitting right underneath here, knows that there's tons and tons of market orders, limit orders, whatever you want to call them. There's tons of orders just waiting underneath here, waiting to be filled as soon as that price gets down below there, and it does. And so as soon as it gets below there, boom, people start losing their money because it goes the opposite way. And they're the rich people. What are they doing? What is their part in this? Their part is they sell everything that they have because they're already at the top, while they also they short it on leverage. So they short it on leverage while also selling all their Bitcoin, making money at the same time. So they sell all their Bitcoin, making money there, shorting it on leverage, making money there. You're trying to buy it because you see this stupid trend line with this. I do not believe in trend lines at all, and this is particularly the reason here. And you lose all the money, because I can't tell you how many times I've done this before, where I've seen a trend line and I've been like, oh yes, it's coming back up to it, and I bought it and thinking it was just gonna go. And I was getting on Telegram channels, and they were all doing the same thing too, buy here, and it just went way under, and our stop loss was way low. And I remember just losing a lot of money on that and being like, how did that that's not supposed to happen, I'm not taught that way, it's not supposed to be like that. And until you run into smart money and you learn smart money, you realize that's not really how the market works. The market doesn't work off geometry. It doesn't work off triangles. It doesn't work off, channels. It doesn't. You can see there's really no channel whatsoever on this. Like what is going on here, especially when you take this off. What there is a lot of price seeking liquidity and also balance, right? That is what price is doing. Price is seeking liquidity, and price is seeking to balance. That's what it is doing, and that's what it's always trying to do. So it's always trying to find an area to where there is market, either areas to where people are going to enter the market, or areas to where people already have limits set up to where as soon as it will get into that area, it will trigger the market. So that way it will flood the market with liquidity, and then there will be some easy way for them to take that money and take them out at the same time. That's what it's always been about. It's always about that. So if anybody tries to sit here and tell you, well, there's going to be let's see here and look at this for a second, and let's take a line right here, and let's go this way, and you can see that there's a trend line right there, and it's going a little bit through here, and so we should have, maybe something will happen, and it'll come back and it'll trend line here, and it'll finally go up. No, it's not what's gonna happen. Not what's gonna happen at all. There was somebody who did I think a reverse head and shoulders pattern here on Bitcoin. Let me take this off here, and I can try to show you. They were trying to say here, left shoulder, boom, right shoulder, and then so they were saying, is it time for a reversal? And the answer is, it's not about the formation, it's about market structure. What happened is that, okay, this area here did get higher than this area. So, all right, that is one good point about this area here. So, okay, now we're looking for higher prices. So now we got to see if we can get above here. That is the market structure that you are looking for. That is the smart money at play. That's what smart money is looking for. That's what they're trying to do. Either they're going to try to push it above here, or they're not. If they're not going to push it above here, then we have to look for signs, right? What are the signs? Well, I can tell you right now, it looks like they wanted to push it below, because there was that green area, or that the green candle. Let me get in a little bit closer here so we can see, because I know, and actually let me get myself, because I don't even think you guys can see with myself on here. So there we go. So hold on 1 second, let me see what I can bring up on here. Of course, I have tons of lines because price abides by lines. Those are not support resistance lines. Those are usually breakers or mitigations or order blocks, something like that. And that's what happened here. So it looks like we had this last, see this green candle here? Green candle goes up, red candle, boom, overtakes it. All right. So this green candle is now your order block. So if you go to here, you bring that all the way across. It's on. As you can see, it hit that order block and boom, rejected. Well, actually, get back on that and get those even. Oh, come on. So, unfortunately, we didn't get above this area, so the market hasn't shifted entirely yet. It did shift here, so that was a good thing. So we had part one of getting better here with Bitcoin, and now we need to find part two. Unfortunately, it looks like we had the order block here that did get dipped into, and then that's what kind of shot it up. And then we have also had an order block here, or not order block, but fair value gap in between. So you have 3 consecutive candles. If there is a big area in between blocks 1 and 3, that is a fair value gap. And generally, anytime it dips down into it, it jumps out. If it doesn't, that means it's looking for lower prices, and it's going to start pushing lower. And so that's what it did. Started looking for lower prices, pushing lower. Closed in the gap. After it closed in the gap, then it tried to push out and then dropped again. And so now this is just some choppy price action here. As you can see, with this fair value gap here, it came down, it touched the very top of it and then got rejected. So it looked like there was some good news there for a second, but it came back up, and you know what it did? That fair value gap that was right there, it entered that here, and I'll even show you by making, let me actually get rid of that guy right there. No, that's the fair value. Is it the fair value gap? No, that's the, there. Let me turn these on. So click here, pull this across. As you can see, it came back up, entered into that fair value gap. Again, it's looking for lower prices, so it shot out, shot down, went through this fair value gap. Looks like it was trying to come back up and hasn't been able to. Because you always look to the left of the chart. There's always something to the left of the chart that's making it react on the right. This thing doesn't just react on its own or just move on its own, because there's no such thing as buying or selling pressure, right? I mean, there are ways of, I mean, I wouldn't say not necessarily buying or selling pressure, but you know, it's not like, you know, the people with equal amount of money have, you know, that are, they're sitting there battling, buying and selling and buying and selling, because there's certain areas to where you're not going to buy, nobody's going to buy. There's certain areas nobody's going to sell, you know. So buying pressure is just not a thing, because price is just always looking for liquidity instead. I mean, until you get something like this. Now this may have been some kind of selling pressure, right? This may have been a huge sell-off. That's very possible. Because, you know why? Because you have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 highs, right? Now you're coming up to make a 4th. and that one was way too easy. But it looked like people were probably waiting for it to get higher, you know, before they sold off, but it didn't. Instead, it just sold off. But that was also inside of a, looks like maybe a breaker. Either way, this was just a huge sell-off, and I do have the fair value gap marked. Well, the 1 hour fair value gap mark anyway. And at least it did eventually get above that. But fair value gaps don't always last forever. Something else will come along and disrupt it, and then that's when you got to find the next thing, like this one, like this fair value gap. This one came along and it disrupted this pattern. Now it's pushed down. Now it looks like Bitcoin is starting to go back up, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Do you have 3 drives here in the hour? And I'm on an hour chart, by the way. So, I would say watch out for this, but I don't even know if that's even an order block. Because it looks like, yeah, that is an order block. So I would say watch out for this body here. If it does get low, because look, you can see there's already been 2 areas that's bounced off of it. So you can see 1, 2 that's bounced off of it because of the order block. So whenever there's pressure, whenever it pushes down really hard and then it pushes back up, you look for those areas to where you look for the body of the candle to where it pushes down, because that is the area to where basically the algorithm has, hard to explain, dropped it. It's the area to where people, what I've been explained, and I do this in almost every video, right? So you'll have people that know where they're going to buy at, so they have a long position, right? 'Cause they know where they're going to make their money. I gotta turn this thing off, right? But they have to sell enough to get to that point to make that little bit extra. So what they do is they will sell their money and short at the exact same time, right? So they'll sell their money and short at the exact same time, and then as soon as the price comes and reaches that same exact spot, what they will do is they will then, boom, let go of that trade. So now they broke even, and now all they have to do is ride the wave up, because now they've convinced people to start buying. Easiest tutorial to smart money that there is, right there. Let's get into the 15 here on Bitcoin and see what's going on. Yeah, the only thing I can see is the order block there. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to come down and touch the order block. What it could do is it could just come down below these 2 little spikes down here, because that could be where some liquidity pockets are. People have sell stops set. could just come down below there and then turn around and come back up, because sometimes it'll also get short of where people think it's going to touch. That way it doesn't actually touch it, and then smart money will take it the other way. Alright, let's over to Ethereum. I still think Ethereum's going to hit 3,000 before the end of the month, because whenever after it hit these lows down here and it started breaking and it started making these formations through here, I noticed that it did break market structure here, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then once it did this, I was a little bit worried. I thought it would pull back a little bit more and then go up. I was hoping it would, but it pulled back. It did pull back just enough and then took off. And when it took off, it got above those highs. And then anytime it kept getting above more and more highs, I was like, this is looking good. This is looking good, because now we're breaking market structure. Anytime we break market structure, broke those highs, and that means we're going higher. So, and then I drew a bit, and then it came up to here, and then basically these two are almost the same height. So then I was like, okay, it's eventually got to break that height. It did fall back a little bit, but of course, boom, it did break those highs. And then I said, okay, now here's your next area to watch. And this was last night. I said, because this is your fair value gap. What did it do? Gets in, boom, rejected, and boom, rejected, boom, rejected, until it finally, boom, shoots through. So that's what your fair value gaps do. They will reject until it finally shoots through, like right here. Look at these. Like, you have two fair value gaps that I have overlapping, and it gets to the top of them, and then it rejects them, and they finally, boom, it just shoots through, and then they act as support after that. So it gets above, falls back, support, boom, goes up. So now you do have fair value gap through here. Well, it looks like it's finding these fair value gap areas right here, and of course using those to jump off of. So now we have two almost equal highs here, which that's a good sign. That means there's liquidity sitting right above these guys. Meaning, like I said, the next time it comes up here, people are going to expect it to fall, and it's probably going to either go up through it and then down a bit and then go up, or it could fall about halfway and then go up, or it could just shoot straight through it. But either way, whenever you see something like this, something near two highs, it's going to get above it eventually. So this is good news right here. So that's the good thing about Ethereum here. Man, it almost makes me want to put a long on it right now, because it's at an area to where if it gets any shorter, it would just turn around and go back. But I feel like it may fall down into these areas here before it jumps back out. Just check out Litecoin. I shorted Litecoin earlier, and I should have held on to it. I made a little bit, but I didn't make as much as I wanted to, because I was seeing it come up, and whenever I saw it come up and enter this fair value gap, I knew it was going to short, so I shorted from here, and then I just waited till it got down past this sell side liquidity, so that would be the lowest point. So as soon as it got passed down through here is when I exited, because this is the area where everybody would be buying, correct? Right? And see this, all these 1, 2, 3. As soon as it would get down to this area, you would expect people to be buying. Not me. I knew it would go through, so I waited for it to go through, and then I ended the trade and got out of there. So I didn't know if it would turn around and go back up or not. But anyways, let's see. Now it's falling pretty good again. We're on a 15-minute chart. There's really no fair value gaps. There is only these two guys right here. I don't know. That's here. This right here could be. Oops. I'm not really sure if it will be your order block. So technically it should. Oh, come on. It should touch this and bounce off of it. And it did. Man, it looks like it did it twice already before that too. This time it just went a little bit deeper. But it's, it's looking for lower prices, so it could pull up a little bit and then turn around and then go further down. So unfortunately, this thing looking for lower prices, it's probably looking to get underneath here, because we do have kind of a liquidity pool sitting underneath here. Even if not there, somewhere around there. Because even though this has been through it doesn't matter. People would consider this support. Litecoin could come all the way down to this area. People would start buying right here, and then it would start falling. So watch out for that. Let's see what Matic's got going on. No. Matic had a bullish order block. It didn't bounce off of it for a second, and now it's going down through it, unfortunately. It could be heading toward this area here. Either way, prices are falling, and I'm just trying to look at different areas and different ways to see what could slow them down, what could stop them, and what could unfortunately there's not really equal highs here, so I don't see a good area. But what I do see is a huge area for, starting actually right here. All the way across, you see that. That's just liquidity right there. Everybody's thinking that right there is support. If Matic gets that low, it'll probably dump underneath it until about here. and that's where you should see it turn around. So again, probably go down. A lot of people are going to think it's going to turn around and go back up, but it's not. Instead, it'll probably go down through until it hits here, and then finally turn around and go back up. So a lot of people are probably going to lose money in this area right here because they don't understand that smart money is waiting for them right there, and it's going to be right below that liquidity point. People would think this is also an area of support, so they would start buying around here. That's where they would start buying around, but it would definitely get below here because that's where most of this is coming from. But it could also do the same thing with all of this too. You could see it get all the way down to 22 cents. So who knows? Anyways, I'm not gonna do too much tonight. Just that was about it. Let me throw on one more here just for the fun of it. EOS looks like it jumped up into this fair value gap here over here, right? Got rejected directly out of that. There was a fair value gap right there. Unfortunately, it went straight through it, and as soon as it went straight through it, it came back up and then got rejected immediately as soon as it came through that one. So now this one's also searching for lower prices as well. So we do have another fair value gap here. So we'll have to see what happens whenever it reaches that area. So anyways, that's it from me tonight, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll try to just keep you updated with videos whenever I can. Up until then, I want you to do something for me, and always keep your pants on.